sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold, and which I choose to see I will behold. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold, and which I choose to see I will behold. Who is my brother but your holy Son? And if I see him sinful, I proclaim myself a sinner, not a son of God, alone and friendless, in a world of fear, in a fearful world. Yet this perception is a choice I make, and can relinquish, I can also see my brother sinless as your holy Son, as your holy Son. And with this choice I see my sinlessness, my everlasting comforter and my friend beside me, and my way secure and clear. Choose then for me, my Father, through your voice, for he alone gives judgment in your name. He alone gives judgment in your holy name. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold, and which I choose to see I will behold. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold, and which I choose to see I will behold. Well, thank you all for joining me on this cold morning. It's a Sunday morning for me, but it's for lesson 351, which will be for what day? Wednesday, December the 17th of 2025. Let me get my gloves on to finish this reading. They said it was going to get down to 11. I had to break ice for the horses and the chickens and the birds, the fowl, and pretty thick ice. So I expect it got pretty chilly last night. We're in the last section of our readings. What am I? Number 14. So back a page. I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks on a Sunday morning, and preceding our lesson 351. I am God's Son, complete and healed and whole, strong in the reflection of His love. In me is His creation sanctified and guaranteed eternal life. In me is love perfected, fear impossible, and joy established without limit. reminds me of my teacher when I was a young student of metaphysics. My yoga teacher, Charlie, old wise man, told me, he said, I think he's the one that told me this, but it was in that class that he used to have on Friday nights. And he said, if the students among different teachers of the different persuasions will argue among themselves, but all the teachers just laugh and have a good time when they get together. They don't have any contention. Anyway, joy established without opposite. In me is love perfected, fear impossible, and joy established without opposite. I said without limit a while ago, but without opposite. In other words, nothing but joy. I am the holy home of God Himself. I am the heaven where His love resides. I am His holy sinlessness itself. For in my purity abides His own. Okay, and then it says, our use for words is almost over now. Yet in the final days of this 1 year we gave to God together, you and I, we found a single purpose that we shared. And thus you joined with me so that what I am are you as well. The truth of what we are is not for words to speak of nor describe. The truth of what we speak of is not for words to speak of nor describe. Yet we can realize our function here, and words can speak of this and teach it too. If we exemplify the words in us, if we're good examples of the word of forgiveness, the word of love, the word of truth, the word of peace. We are the bringers of salvation just by being who you are, having joy without opposite. We are the bringers of salvation. We accept our part as saviors of the world, which through our joint forgiveness is redeemed. And this our gift is therefore given us. We look on everyone as brother and perceive all things as kindly and as good. We see all things as kindly and as good. We do not seek a function that is past the gate of heaven. Knowledge will return when we have done our part. We are concerned only with giving welcome to the truth. Ours are the eyes through which Christ's vision sees a world redeemed from every thought of sin. Ours are the ears that hear the voice for God proclaim the world as sinless. Ours the minds that join together as we bless the world. And from the oneness that we have attained, we call to all our brothers, asking them to share our peace and consummate our joy. We are the holy messengers of God who speak for Him. And carrying His word to everyone whom He has sent to us, we learn that it is written on our hearts. And thus our minds are changed about the aim for which we came and which we seek to serve. We bring glad tidings to the Son of God, who thought He suffered. Now is He redeemed, and as He sees the gate of heaven stand open before Him, He will enter in and disappear into the heart of God. That's what we want to do, is just disappear into the heart of God, where you can't tell any difference between the Father and the Son. Or one forever. We always are. We just aren't aware of it yet. Might as well become aware of it by doing what? Practicing forgiveness. Matter of fact, we're going to learn a lot about that very idea, what makes the shift, in today's reading in Song of Prayer. We're in chapter 1, prayer, and we're ready for Roman numeral 4, praying with others. And if you are following along out of the Foundation for Inner Peace, it'll be the very last supplement at the end of the compilation of the Course in Miracles and all the supplements. And if you're reading from the original edition, you'll have to go to a Foundation for Inner Peace version to get this one. You can find both books on the original edition at jcim.net, but for today's reading, you'd want to go to acim.org. Praying with others. And be sure that you do your longer practice period morning and evening, where you sit in the silence. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold. Okay, praying with others. Oh, and let me say, again, I remind you every day, but I think it's important. I tend to forget, and maybe by telling you, I'll remember more. To take those hourly remembrances throughout the day, where you check in with yourself, make sure you're at peace, make sure that you are seeing your brother as sinless today, because that'll what'll bring you peace. You see him as sinful, it's going to bring you pain. And remember, you get the power to choose which one you're going to see. We're learning some lessons that will help us to do that very thing. And that's what the Course in Miracles is all about, to help you do that very thing. I remember years ago, probably I'd been going through the Course in Miracles, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years by the time I came to this realization. It was in this particular lesson today, 351. And I've had this song all these years. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain. And which I choose to see, I will behold. Wow, did I ever wake up? It took me about 5 years, maybe a little longer, before I finally realized what the Course in Miracles were really trying to say. I was doing it over and over, and I was reading it, and I was getting it, but boy, this really drove it home. This has always been a dear lesson and a dear song for me. Praying with others, number 4 in the Song of Prayer. Until the second level at least begins, one cannot share in prayer. Okay, what's the second level? Remember, the first level is where you don't see your interests as the same as someone else's. But when you finally realize that your interests and how you treat another is how you're going to feel. It's expressed in the next ascent begins with this: what I have asked for my brother is not what I would have. Thus have I made of him an enemy. So we want to learn to not make our brother an enemy, but see them as ourselves. Love your neighbor as yourself, because they are yourself. You're different cells in one body, the body of Christ. Praying with others. Until the second level at least begins, one cannot share in prayer. For until that point, each one must ask for different things. You know, it's a little chilly. I'm going to get this up here around my ears so that I can be a little warmer. For until that point, each one must ask for different things. But once the need to hold the other as an enemy has been questioned, and the reason for doing so has been recognized, if only for an instant, it becomes possible to join in prayer. You don't have to have it perfect, but you've got to at least say, okay, I know that theoretically my interests are the same as him, even though it sure doesn't seem like it right now. But once the need to hold the other as an enemy has been questioned, and the reason for doing so has been recognized, if only for an instant, it becomes possible to join in prayer. Enemies do not share a goal. It is in this their enmity is kept. Their separate wishes are their arsenals, their fortresses in hate. They both have separate wishes, separate goals, and they're not united. They don't. I'll get my goal by making sure that you don't spoil it. The key to rising further still in prayer lies in this simple thought, this change of mind. We go together, you and I. Isn't that what we're singing about today? My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain. And which I choose to see, I will behold. We go together, you and I. We go together, you and I. Now it is possible to help in prayer. And so reach up yourself. This step begins the quicker ascent, but there are still many lessons to learn. The way is open and hope is justified. Yet it is likely at first that what is asked for even by those who join in prayer is not the goal that prayer should truly seek. Even together you may ask for things, and thus set up but an illusion of a goal you share. You may ask together for specifics and not realize that you are asking for effects without the cause. And this you cannot have, for no one can receive effects alone, asking a cause from which they do not come, to offer them to him. So even in a holy relationship where you both are trying, if you both are asking for specific things, it might even be the same thing you're both asking for. But if it's not bringing you closer to God, it ain't worth nothing. It's just something he says, the effect without the cause you cannot have. Paragraph 3. Even the joining then is not enough, if those who pray together do not ask before all else, what is the will of God? There it is right there. What is the will of God? Not my will, but thine be done, is what Jesus said. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's how we've been trying to pray for 2,000 years. Well, he says that even the joining then is not enough, if those who pray together do not ask before all else, what is the will of God? From this cause only can the answer come in which are all specifics satisfied, all separate wishes unified in one. Prayer for specifics always asks to have the past repeated in some way. What was enjoined before, or seemed to be, what was another's, and he seemed to love, all these are but illusions from the past. Let's read that sentence again. Prayer for specifics always asks to have the past repeated in some way. Wow, there's a lot of New Age teachers even that teach you to visualize exactly what you want, the specifics. And I always think to myself, well, what about if God's got something better for you? It'd be better to just say, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I kind of like this, but if that ain't the right thing, you bring me what I want. And trust. Let God be your focus, not the thing you want. Okay? Prayer for specifics always seeks to have the past repeated in some way. What was enjoined before, or seemed to be, what was another's, and he seemed to love, all these are but illusions from the past. The aim of prayer is to release the present from its chains of past illusions, to let it be freely chosen, to let it be a freely chosen remedy from every choice that stood for a mistake. Let's read it again. The aim of prayer is to release the present from its chains of past illusions, to let it be freely chosen, or to let it be a freely chosen remedy from every choice that stood for a mistake. What prayer can offer now so far exceeds all that you asked before that it is pitiful to be content with less. And the last paragraph we'll read today, number 4. You have chosen a newborn chance each time you pray, and would you stifle and imprison it in ancient prisons when the chance has come to free yourself from all of them at once? Do not restrict your asking. Prayer can bring the peace of God. Prayer can bring the peace of God. What time-bound thing can give you more than this in just the little space that lasts until it crumbles into dust? Well, let's be praying that we see our brother's sinlessness today. That seems like a worthy thing to ask for. Okay, give me just a minute to set my book on my little, I've got an inverted, I sit cross-legged on the ground, and which you can probably tell, but anyway, I've got a bucket as a pulpit. And I got an old broken pot that I lay on there that holds it sideways, and then I lay a little piece of wood on there that's my little podium, I guess you'd call it. Anyway, thank you for joining me out here in the cold Ozarks today. Advent continues for the Christians. Nativity fasts for the Orthodox continues. Hanukkah for the Jews continues. I found that it's Ember Day for some Christians, a time for prayer for Christians. Ember Day, E-M-B-E-R. Clean Air Day, International Day to End Violence. I'd stop it there, International Day to End Violence. But the rest of it's valuable. International Day to End Violence Against, and you fill in the blank as far as I'm concerned, but the blank they filled in, International Day to End Violence Against Sex Workers. You know, have an open mind to people. Let everybody make their own choices of which way they're going, what they're doing in life. It's long past the day where we need to think that God judges us for our choices. And let's don't judge our brothers and sisters for their choices. Maple Syrup Day. Yeah, this is okay. Maple Syrup Day. The Acers, or the Acers, A-C-E-R is the genus. The three that I'm most familiar with is the ones around here, the Saccharinum, the Saccharis, or Saccharum. The Acer Saccharum is the sugar maple. The silver maple is the Acer Saccharinum. It has sugar in it too, but just not as much as the sugar maple. You can tap it though. You can tap all maples. And then the red maple, the Acer rubrum. And then today in 1903, the Wright brothers made their first powered flight of their airplane at Kitty Hawk in 1903. So it's Wright Brothers Day, and also turns into Pan Aviation Day. And let's see, out of Seed Savers Exchange, we've got another lettuce, and it's the Mantillia. Is it Mantillia? A Lactuca sativa, and it's a butterhead. And it says a large and beautiful chartreuse butterhead that scored in the top 10 in Seed Savers Exchange's 2010 lettuce tasting of more than 70 varieties. This mild, tender, and sweet lettuce has floppy leaves and is slow to bolt. First offered in 2005 Seed Savers Yearbook by Margaret Latterbach of Boise, Idaho. It's a butterhead, and it's 60 days to maturity. And our word for peace, we're going to take it from the Seminole. Our Seminole brothers, you know, they were originally from the area they were north of their present day area. They're in the Florida area. They were originally Georgia and Alabama, but when the Europeans moved in, they found out the Europeans couldn't handle the swamps. So they just moved south where they had learned. My teacher said it was because they didn't eat sugar. And mosquitoes won't bother you as bad if you're low on sugar, if you don't eat a lot of refined white sugar is what he was referring to. But anyway, they were originally on the Chattahoochee River before pre-Columbian, and then they moved down into the Everglades area on the St. Johns River, the Peace River, the Miami River, and the Biscayne Bay. So anyway, and their word for peace is High-guh, High-guh, High-guh. Let me warm my hands up just a minute. I can almost I can feel my hands got really cold. I got this rock in my hand. I just put a rock on my lap in a towel. It warms up my hands a minute so that I can play my guitar at the end, and I get about 3 or 4 minutes, and man, my hands are cold out today. But we'll have plenty to get to our song, and we'll throw in there at the end. We go together, you and I. That's part of our song. You know, my sinless brother is my guide to peace. You want to be peaceful, then you got to see your brother as sinless, no guilt. You want to see him, you want to be painful, you want to feel pain? Well, then see him as guilty. It's that simple. And which I choose to see, I will behold. Whichever one you want to see, that's what you're gonna see. You get the choice. Okay, now I heard my guitar making some noise over here, so let me just make sure it's still tuned. You can get this cold, it sometimes changes. Okay, that sounds pretty good. My My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold, and which I choose to see I will behold. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold, and which I choose to see I will behold. Who is my brother but your holy Son? And if I see him sinful, I proclaim myself a sinner, not a son of God, alone and friendless, alone and friendless in a fearful world. Yet this perception is a choice I make. It is a choice I make and can relinquish. I can also see my brother sinless as your holy Son, sinless as your holy Son. And with this choice I see my sinlessness, my everlasting comforter and friend beside me, and my way secure and clear. Choose then for me, my Father, through your voice, for he alone gives judgment in your name. For the Holy Spirit gives judgment in your name. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold, and which I choose to see I will behold. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold. We go together, you and I. 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 My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, and which I choose to see I will behold, and which I choose to see I will behold. And from the Seminole word for peace, High-guh. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain, in which I choose to see I will behold. High-guh.